Indian news, always the best news in town. Just some and a essay Kosubio. A bar NPP NDC, a memo once and some dear any what China Indian news more and an hour 20. Yet here in some are a coso and nay and what Yamano Semimo. Now, yet to me, and Fabi and so near her be a suswa and the body one and so ever far. In Simbi a chabu are men person with the man of also cry. Young put here in Simimra the bar. Deɛ aka biara nso no yɛde bɛtoa wo so pɛ sɛ wode comment ɛbɛto aseɛ na ebiom koraa mpo no pɛ sɛ wobɛsubscribe to yɛn channel no na afoforɔ nso so anya bi ahwɛ anya bi atie na other news bi ɛfa ho biara no yɛtumi de ama wo. When it comes to politics and governance, whether NPP NDC deɛ a Nimdeɛ news ɛwɔ ɛberɛ de ma wo paa. Nsɛm bi ɛtwa gu ɛnnɛ yi ɛwɔ Ghana man mu wɔ about their politics na nkurɔfoɔ pii na nso na ɛkyɛ wɔn adwene ɛwɔ nsɛm yi ɛho. Menim sɛ wo nso wɔ adwenkyerɛ yɛtie nsɛm yi mmara sisi a deɛ ba a yɛaka biara no yɛde ɛbɛtoa wo so ma remfi sɛ ɔbɛsubscribe sɛdeɛ mede kaka kyerɛw no yɛntie mmara sisi a na kyerɛ w'adwene nso ɛwɔ ho.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, exclusive news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. My guest in the studio, Inus Afuseni, is former MP, Tamale Central, former ranking member, Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Frank Davis, Chairman, Constitutional and Legal Committee of the New Patriotic Party. We used to call him the Mugabe, the longest-serving president of the bar in the region here in Accra. Bobby Banson is private legal practitioner. He teaches the law at the Ghana School of Law. He's an author of 2 very good legal texts that I use as well. And we will be joined by Gloria Oforibuedu, managing lawyer, GOB Law Consults, adjunct lecturer, Gimpa Law School, and University of Ghana School of Law. Thank you all very much, gentlemen, for making time to join us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Thank you. Okay, so let's go straight to the very first matter in which the minority, the NPP, not exactly the minority, there was a press conference which was addressed by Mr. Afenyo-Marking together with Justin Frimpong Kodua. And that was at the place where they were, Alisa, where they were receiving the report from Michael Okwe. And they were very straight about this point, that the attempted removal of the Chief Justice is an aberration. And they are calling on all lawyers, all judges, and civil society organizations to rise and be heard and to resist it. So we're going straight to that issue. I suppose since Frank Davis was there and has followed this as well, we may begin with him. But let's Frank says he would prefer that we begin with Inus Afuseni. So let me begin with Inus Afuseni. But thanks that you are here. I've also seen stuff on social media that your farms are under siege, being taken away from you in Mampurugu because you have made certain comments about the Bawku situation. I've never hosted a show on Bawku situation without the 2 sides coming at me. What's happening? What have you done?
Well, so Samson, thank you for having me. Just last week, Saturday, a program was hosted on another platform. The topic, the Bawku conflict, was not part of the issues for discussion, but just on the spur of the moment, like you journalists do. You ask people's opinions on how the matter could be solved. So I proffered some opinions, my opinions on how we could restore peace in Bawku. Thursday, there was a megadon. The whole Manpursi kingdom descended on me. I had challenged the sovereignty of the Bawku Naba. The Nairi over Bawku. The comments simply touched the raw nerve of the Mamprosi people and provoked an avalanche of attacks on me. In fact, visceral anger could be seen from the attacks through social media on my person and threats.
We have heard the Nairi speak for the very first time in a long time.
Yes.
What did you say?
Oh, I was just proffering, I was talking about how, in my view, we could pursue peace. Okay. And in proffering my view, it appeared to the Mamprosis that I was spreading the narrative of the Kusasis. Unfortunate. That was not my view. And you know me, sometimes. I don't double in mischief. My honest view was proffered. And unfortunately, it turned out that the view was aligned to the view of the Kusasis. And so I was transported from a Dagumba to a Kusasi. And you don't believe it. You won't believe it. Now, the passions that it evoked, the emotions that were pouring out against my person. Now, so upon deep reflection, I said, no, I think that what I said did not sit well with the Mamprosis. It was not meant to destabilize the status quo ante. It was not meant to side with any group. It was simply pursuing, in my view, what we could do to bring justice to Bawku, or peace to Bawku. And upon deep reflection, I think that I owe the Mamprosi youth an apology. I also owe the Nairi an apology and his Council of Chiefs. So I'm happy you've provoked this discussion even before we go into the Chief Justice's matter. I'm using your platform, Samson, with the greatest respect to you, to render an unqualified apology to the youth of Mamprogo, to the Nairi, and to his Council of Chiefs. That it was never my intention. In fact, I bear some close affinity to the Mamprosis. So I was surprised that my statement had simply transported me from somebody who bears close affinity to the Mamprosis to a Kusasi. I've become a better person. I've now been able to put the conflict in proper perspective.
Okay.
And so, once again, this is Lent. Lent is a period of forgiveness also.
It's over, actually.
It's over?
Lent is over.
It's
over on Sunday.
It's over on Sunday.
Today is Holy Saturday.
Holy Saturday.
Holy
yes.
Saturday
So,
blessings.
blessings.
Yeah.
So, in fact, today is Holy Saturday, and so I pray that my apology will be accepted by the Mamprosi people, the youth, my brothers in Mamprogo, and the Nairi, and all those who have been hurt, deeply hurt by the statements that I made.
Okay.
Intended just to pursue peace.
All right.
I've since spoken to the leaders of the Mamprogo Youth Association, and many people. I attended school in Naleligo. I taught in Wale Wale. So, so that was it. And,
Okay.
And though all those people who had made comments, who had made videos, who had spoken emotionally on the matter, I owe you an apology. I apologize to you. It was not intended to provoke you to that level of visceral anger.
Okay. And earlier I was referring to the Mamprogo overlord, and he has had government to act to end the banditry and domestic terrorism in Bawku. The king of Mamprogo, Na Bohoga Abdullahi Mahami Sherega, has called on the government to take decisive and immediate measures to end all forms of armed violence and protect his people in the Bawku traditional area of the Upper East region. The Nairi has expressed concern over reports of violence. It's no more a question of reports. These are actually happening. Violence, and then he says the violence are targeting members of the state security services and banditry along the Bogatanga, Bawku, Polymango Highway. Yes, Polymango Highway. We hope that some action will be taken and peace will be restored. Thank you all very much. In the course of the week, I had just too many of the people from both factions, Mapusi and Kosasi, sending me messages, but we ourselves have become a bit careful.
Careful, yeah.
Because there's no one single day that we have discussed the Bawku situation here and you don't suffer attacks from both sides. Yeah. We pray that peace will be found and found very quickly. Yes, so let's do this. Let's play the press conference and then we come to you. Okay. Right.
And I'll start.
Okay, then I'll come to Frank Davis.
We don't want people to go out and distort facts. We don't want our members to make irresponsible statements. We are cautioning our members that report is in. We are yet to even deliberate on the report. So people should be very circumspect in their utterances and their discussions on radio. We are one family, and the most important thing is unity in the party. We should watch our utterances. It's not about accusation and counter-accusation. Let's stay focused. The leadership of the party has a roadmap. We know what we are about, and very soon the timetable for all the major activities in the party will be brought out for all of us to know and to prepare ourselves as to what transpired at NEC and National Council. If you recall, somewhere in January, National Council had an emergency meeting, and at the emergency meeting, the council set up a review committee to do a postmortem of the 2024 elections. And today, the committee led by Reverend Professor Iroma Kukwe submitted their report to National Council. National Council accepted the report, but there are several steps that we need to take as a party. As we receive the report today, we need to sit down and deliberate on the report. And key among the discussions that we had at National Council, and also based on the summary evening presentation that was done by Professor Mark Irobe, there will be a need for some constitutional amendment. So based on that, the National Council has constituted a 9-member committee to look at Professor Maigukwe's report, particularly emphasis on where issues of proposals or amendment has to be made to our constitution.
A sincere apologies for that. Right after he spoke, then Afenyo addressed the specific issue that we want to begin the discussion with. What you have just heard, we will play that back to you, but when we are dealing with the NPP's, search or the committee's work that has been done. Afenyo Marking, at that press conference, said, and I quote, "The judiciary should not be seen as part of the partisan political system in our country. All we need is an impartial judiciary to dispense justice. What is happening is unacceptable, and it is clear that the NDC government wants to infiltrate the judiciary by making it partisan." He continued, "The judiciary must stand together as one body and make a full statement and condemn this action. The Ghana Bar Association must stand for the judiciary. Civil society organizations must stand for the judiciary." There are other people within the NPP, lawyers within the NPP, John Darko, as well as Nana J. Bafo Ewa, who is MP for Menshia, and John Darko, who is MP for Swami, all making similar statements in support of Afenyo Marking's call. There is also Dr. Prince Hamid Ama, former MP for Kwesi Mintim, joining this as well. Of course, we have had Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, Director of Policy Engagement and Partnerships at the CDD, write a whole piece about this and saying removing and replacing the Chief Justice would only introduce a new appointee with similar political baggage, repeating the same cycle. Legislative reform is the more effective path. I hear Afeomakin's sound is ready.
MPs are now being harassed by expressing their views on governance issues. We urge government to demonstrate tolerance. After all, when they were in opposition, they were at liberty to raise a number of issues. The recent event at the residence of Reverend Intim Fojo leaves so much to be desired. Very unfortunate. In any event, they could have used due process of law to, invite him. And then the final point, government must focus on issues of governance, creating jobs, and helping better the lives of the people. We are still aware that a lot more are being dismissed from various state institutions that are even very independent and are limited liability companies and whose budgets do not rely on government budgets. They are very independent, who have recruited people for 18 months, 12 months, and they are just being sacked here and there. Government must take note of it. We are also concerned about an attempt by certain individuals in government to push for the removal of the Chief Justice. The judiciary should not be seen as part of the partisan political system in our country. All we need is to have an impartial judiciary to dispense justice. What is happening is unacceptable, and it's clear that the NDC government wants to infiltrate the judiciary and make it partisan. But my advice to all judges in the country, stand together. Let not somebody create an impression of one of you and think that by dislodging one of you, you will be the next. The next day, you would also be the next. So judges in the country must stand together. The judiciary must stand as one body and make a full statement to condemn this act. The Ghana Bar Association must also stand for the judiciary. Civil society organizations must stand for the judiciary. All these flimsy, pedestrian excuses looking at what is out there, you wonder whether these are real, grounds for the removal of a Chief Justice. And, well, this is NDC for you. Some hardliners are still pushing for it. So I would plead with President Mahama. I see him as a statesman because this is his last and final term. So he's no more part of the mainstream politics.
Right. Frank.
Yes, Samson, thank you very much, and a good morning once again to your esteemed viewers, listeners, and the generality of all Ghanaians. Samson, we are in very difficult and challenged times, and one would have wished that we were not, to borrow the esteemed language of my senior Fareboa, we were not in this caboodle. I just had a little chat with Inusa before we came to the studio, and you see something, it's not the removal per se of a chief